Montoya, Keanu can do kind of in the middle, but especially on the edge, how are things going?
Yeah, man, I think we got some great pieces. Long way to go. I like where we're starting at, but like you said, we're replacing a lot of people from last season. So just trying to figure out who can do what, moving guys around a little bit, trying to figure out who can play with who, switching up the groupings so they're not always used to the same people next to them. But overall, I like how they've been responding. Definitely trying to push them. Going to year two and this style of defense. I know Coach Malloy is, bringing his own wrinkles, but just trying to make sure we're all on the same page. But I like our progress. But still got a lot of work to do.
What do you think of the job they did on Saturday during that open practice?
Yeah, I thought it was solid again. I think they're coming out with the right energy. Obviously there's always something you can get improved on, and always something we can grow on. So I'm trying to focus on that. Trying to find a good balance of praising them and also showcasing how these little minute things can get better. But overall, I think they're doing a great job of taking the coaching. Me and Coach Malloy are very similar in our styles of coaching. Some of our techniques are very similar. So it's not too much brand new stuff they got to do. A lot of carryover. A lot of guys showing up on film, flying around. So I'm excited from where we're at. But like I said, still got a long way to go.
What's the transition like been for you? Being a Southern California native,
Yeah.
coming, back to the area, and joining this coaching staff.
Yeah, it's been amazing, honestly. Around a lot of great coaches, no ego. So I just really feel like we're able to go on there. We're able to work, trying to find a way to get better. That's probably like the most impressive thing I've noticed about being on the staff is just how hungry everybody is and how willing they are to help and assist. I think we got a good mix of veteran and younger coaches. So all these ideas that we're bringing to the table and kind of making sure they mesh well has been great. So I've been enjoying it, man. It's great to be back here in SoCal. This is the school I rooted for coming up. So I take a lot of pride in it. I feel like I owe it to the guys that wore this logo and this jersey, prior to me. So we're gonna keep pushing in that direction.
We're almost halfway done with fall camp. Where have you seen the biggest areas of improvement from the team so far?
I just think starting fast. I know that was a big issue Coach Foss wanted to emphasize this season. Hence the early practices, but I think the guys have taken heed to that and really taken pride in it. Just coming out here with the right mentality, not kind of oozing into practice and turning it up at the end. Obviously throughout camp you're going to have some highs and lows, but the more we can continue to ascend, in terms of how we compete, I think the better we will be. So that's been the biggest thing I've been impressed with, just coming out hot, ready to go. I'm always going to challenge my guys to come out because I feel like we set the tone up front. So if we're half stepping up there, then we can't expect the rest of the defense to fly around. So that's going to be the constant challenge. We've been playing all over the place this season and a lot of different areas, so we got to be able to react to whatever time they give us. So we just got to go play.
And what areas still need improvement, you think, before season opener and play?
I think just the little things. Like we're trying to, like I said, this is year two for them. This solid defense, so not as much teaching in terms of execution and where you need to be, but more so just the little techniques, whether that's your hand placement or your feet, or how violent you're bringing with your strike, or how we're finishing on the quarterback, and what we're focusing in on our pass rush. All those little type of things I think make a big difference once you get to game time. So while we're in this camp training type mode, how can get better on the little things? Because I think how you do anything is how you do everything.
How have you seen the camaraderie of the team improve throughout fall camp so far?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of tough to get around other groups throughout camp, So starting with my group, I think they've been great, man. Like I said, I've been trying to shuffle around guys and see who can play with what, so we can always trust who's out on the field. But I think how we play on defense, Coach Malloy is all about connection. He's one of the most passionate guys I've been around and bringing us together and playing for one another. And I think that is going to also, turn into special teams, and it's going to turn over to the offense. And I love the competition periods that we have, and Coach Foster challenges the guys to get after it, but doing it in a way that's great on the field and off the field. We're back to being brothers again. So great competition up front. I think we can continue to build that, relationship with your teammates. I think that's going to ultimately make us better in the long run.
What's the process like of building a line, like building a combination of guys that's going to work, and where are you guys at with that process?
Yeah, I think it starts with knowing who can do what and knowing what can each person handle. Some guys are athletic enough to play on the inside and the outside. Some guys are, more cerebral to be able to drop at times, be able to rush the passer at times, be able to get inside and play passing situations on the interior, similar to like what they did with the Twins last year. So it starts with that, and then just going out there and letting them play. Obviously like in individual periods and things like that, I'm very vocal and I'm trying to show them and teach them what I want to do. And when they get on the field, it's their time. I don't want to be over coaching them. I want to be able to have them play naturally and play based off of their parameters within the defense. But that only comes from trial and error, I believe, just putting different groups out there, seeing who can do what, and then seeing who steps up when it's time to make a play. I think we're I don't even know. I wouldn't even say I have a clear idea of who is going to be doing what this year. I know we have a lot of guys with a lot of experience and a lot of different athletic abilities, so it's going to be interesting how we can manipulate that on the field. But I'm excited for where we're at, but I'm looking forward to even more how we're going to continue to grow throughout this last few weeks of camp.
What separates Jay Toya?
I think his mentality, man. He's alpha. As you guys know, he's a dog on the field. Like, it's all business when he steps onto this turf, which is something I can always appreciate. Him being an older guy, having a whole lot of snaps, I'm constantly finding ways to challenge him, finish more. Like, he's definitely going to bring the juice. Never got to be a guy that you got to rally up or rile up to get going. He's going to set the tone up front. So he's trying to find ways to constantly bring guys around with him. Like, he knows, him and New played a lot of snaps last year. Gary Smith played a lot of snaps last year. But we got a lot of guys who haven't had that experience. So trying to help them see what he sees and kind of do kind of what he feels like the best reaction to a block or a reaction to a particular play is. So he's definitely stepped up his leadership qualities. I'm definitely glad to have him part of the room. And I think he's taken some strides from when I first got here to now in terms of how he's speaking up, how he's having a sense of pride on the defense, and also like having a standard of what it needs to look like. He's probably one of the first guys to speak up when things aren't going right, but not from a demeaning element, but from a passionate element, from a care standpoint, showing him that he really cares about this game and he's trying to maximize the time that he has. And I think that's the type of urgency you need to play in this game at this level.
We saw Collins playing some inside interior defensive line on Saturday. Is that kind of like part of a cross training where he can do both, or do you see him maybe playing more inside?
Yeah, that's back to the topic of moving guys around. I think Collins is a guy that can do both, so challenging him to do both. I know he's been out dealing with injuries in the past, so trying to get him back in the groove, trying to shake off the rust, and he's accepted the challenge. So he's a guy that's going to keep growing, keep improving. He's taking the coaching. Obviously, what he's used to doing in the past to what we're doing here is a little bit different. So he's still very young in terms of, his experience with the defense. But I think he's doing a good job so far. He's got to keep stacking the days, man, trying to find a way to push through and find a way to get better.
Sharif say, is he close to joining?
That's up to Coach Miller. I hope soon. I know he's working. I know he's working hard to get back. We just don't want to be, too quick to put him out there before he's ready. So we just want to make sure his conditioning is straight before all that. But behind the scenes, doing a lot of work to get him prepared and ready. So when his time is, we can see what he can do, get him a good, true evaluation, and kind of go from there.
And one other guy is you got trying to make an unusual leap. Luke Sherman coming from Division III. Johns Hopkins to UCLA. What have you thought about him so far?
I like his mentality, man. I know he was not sure what to expect just in terms of from where he was at to where we're at here, but another guy that's like you can see him trying to take the coaching and applying it, right? It's just a different way of doing things. I know a lot of our techniques are different, our scheme on defense is a little bit different. You kind of mentioned how this is the first time of him being like a true outside backer, so all the elements that go around that's been different for him, but one thing about Luke, man, he goes 100 miles per hour, so if you can play with that type of effort and that energy, I think he'll be in the right spots. Now it's just about fine-tuning little details and cleaning up his technique some. But he's always going to work hard. He brings that mentality, that workhorse mentality to the group. So he's got to keep it up.
One of the younger guys on the group, Grant Bucky. What have you seen out of him so far?
Bucky, man, another guy that's playing multiple positions. I know in the past he's played inside. This season we're really working him at both. A guy that's, you can just show it to him and Bucky just retains it, right? He can just listen to the coaching and apply it really early. So another thing I'm challenging him to just continue to play faster, with being able to move him all around. Like he can't just be, just super heavy and just ready to play the run all the time. Want to be able to drop it sometimes, want to be able to set the edge at times. So I think he's been getting better, man. Especially from spring to now. I can tell it matters to him. And when he's on the field, he carries it like that. Another thing I'm continue to challenge Bucky, man, just continue to compete in everything that he does. Like never get complacent. Not saying that he is, but sometimes you just feel like when you got the scheme of the defense down, you can just go out there and just play it naturally. But I always want to try to find ways to look at things differently. How can I be better in this rush? How can I be better on the inside when I'm playing these type of blocks? And he's responding, man. He's great, man. I feel like I can coach all these guys hard, which is something I appreciate. There's just extreme amount of passion I have to this game, and like I said, to this university. It means a lot to those who follow us and root for us. So I want to make sure we're putting out the proper product when it's time to go.
We're good?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.